Now, Final Score with Nick Walters on Fox 16.
The Blue Devils are bound for the Big Easy.
And we'll see. Only time will tell. I mean, last year we lost to Baylor, and they were national champions. And like I said, I'll be shocked if Duke is not national champions.
Well, all good things must come to an end. The Razorbacks had their last dance last night against Duke. Whether or not you're one for moral victories, there are so many silver linings behind their memorable season and historic run. Welcome into the Final Score, where I promise you won't be as bummed out as you were 24 hours ago. Joining the show later is former Razorback Scotty Thurman, the man who drilled a shot heard around Arkansas in their 1994 national championship. And five-star future Hog Nick Smith opens up on the Hogs' magical year before he hits the hill. But take a gander at what this team has accomplished this season. Not only were they the last SEC team left standing in the tournament, the Hogs knocked off a 1 seed for the first time in program history by stunning Gonzaga in the Sweet 16, and became the first team ever to beat a #1 team in the regular season and a 1 seed in the tourney. Nobody could have imagined this success in early January when they started 0-3 in conference play. It just shows how far this team has come. After the break, we're going to bring in a man who knows the Hogs real well because he played for them. His name is forever presented at Bud Walton, Scotty Thurman, who sank the game-winning shot in the 1994 national championship. He joins us to look back on the Hogs' incredible run.
You're watching Final Score on Fox 16.
Well, the Razorbacks' dance was cut short, but it's more about how far they went, making the Elite Eight in back-to-back years for the first time since the mid-90s. A national championship may be reachable in the future, the last time the Hogs winning it being back in 1994. And it was much in thanks to Scotty Thurman, who against Duke hit the famous shot heard around Arkansas. The man, the myth, the legend, the Little Rock Parkview head basketball coach is here to join us. Scotty, the last time you played Duke was the last time Arkansas played Duke in general. It must have been crazy to see that all pan out last night. Not the results we hoped for with a win, but still what an incredible run the Hogs have had to get here, including knocking off 1 seed Gonzaga. What are you going to remember the most about this season?
Well, I think they're definitely going to remember the memories. Obviously, it was a tough-fought basketball game. They're not going to be excited about the loss at all, but I think it's definitely something to build on, considering the fact that these guys have accomplished a lot this year with making back-to-back Elite Eight appearances.
For sure, and of course this season included knocking off Auburn, the #1 team ranked in the country at the time, plus 1 seed Gonzaga. Let's take us back to it was Thursday night when they played Gonzaga, knocking off the top team in the nation, stunning the entire world in doing so. What did you make of that performance by the Razorbacks to come out on top against the mighty Zags?
Well, I thought they did a good job of being very, very physical. I thought they did the things that it took to win that basketball game, helping each other out on defense with Jalen Williams coming up time after time, taking big charges. And I thought if you look at the way that Devo helped execute down the stretch with Note kind of struggling offensively, he still had 21 points. I think he was 9 for 29. Devo kind of helped facilitate some of those shots and help win that game down the stretch.
When you look back on this season, you can't not mention J.D. Note's impact on this team. 14 points against Duke, which is not really one of his best nights, but 21 points against Gonzaga, a big reason why they came out on top of the 1 seed Zags. He's the second leading scorer in the SEC this season. What impact do you think he made on this team, and how much did he impress you?
Well, I think he was very impressive, not only what he did offensively. I think there's time after time again, he made big shot after big shot. I think he defended very well, coming up with big-time steals each and every ball game. And I thought he was a major catalyst in terms of what they were doing offensively and defensively.
Yeah, J.D. Note, the all-star of this team on the offensive side of the board. But hey, a rising star in the paint this year has been Jalen Williams, who really came out of nowhere to have a stellar season. He came out with 19 points and 10 rebounds against Duke. He posted double-doubles in all 4 games this tournament, and he was no stranger to double-doubles because he was a force, and he went toe-to-toe with some of the best bigs in the country and came out on top many of those times. What did you make of his performance all season long?
Jalen had a great season. For a young man to, come in his first 2 years, play in 2 Elite Eight appearances, and then for him to play with the kind of charisma and the pizzazz that a big fella has to be able to perform with, playing well defensively as well as scoring the basketball, I think his future is bright.
Yeah, Jalen Williams, his future sure is bright, and we hope he's going to be back next year, and he'd be joined by a fantastic recruiting class at that to maybe build on this momentum that Eric Musselman has been building. Because with Eric Musselman at the helm, the last 2 seasons, 2 Elite 8 appearances, that's never been done in back-to-back seasons. Since you were playing, what do you make of the potential of this team going forward under the leadership and the management of Eric Musselman?
Well, I think when you look at some of the in-state talent that they have coming in with, Nick Smith, as well as my man from down there, Darren Ford. Mr. Ford is a big-time player as well. And then you've got Jordan Walsh coming in that class, and who knows, they may be fortunate enough to land one of these other young men out here who's decommitting from other programs and be able to come in as well to go with the core of Devo, Jalen Williams, and if Note decides to stay, who knows what could happen.
There's been a lot of talk about those national championship teams, the one that won, the one that lost, you were on them. This week has been a big one to reflect on those 90s teams because of all the recent success the Razorbacks have had in trying to get to that point that your Razorback teams had made. So what was this week like, just seeing all the build-up and these Razorbacks maybe meeting the success that your Arkansas teams did?
Well, it was definitely a sense of pride and excitement, not just for myself, but for everyone around the state, as well as, even my former teammates who played there as well. I think it was just huge for our state to get a chance to experience this, and more importantly for the student athletes, for them to get an opportunity not only compete, but compete at a high level. And I thought they did a great job of representing the Razorbacks both on and off the floor this season.
Scotty, a lot of Razorback fans wanted to see Arkansas on the cover of Sports Illustrated again, like Corliss Williamson was back in the day. That's not going to happen because they didn't make the Final Four. A national championship this year, at least, is not in reach. Can you just take us back to your heyday and maybe even making that shot against Duke? What are your memories as a Razorback, and how do you look back on those days?
Well, I think you look back on it with pride because you realize how easy you thought it was to get there when you were a young person versus now sitting in my seat and experiencing the fact that these guys made 2 Elite Eights, but not every other team can say that. So, we accomplished some historical moments, and to be able for me to have the opportunity to make the shot to kind of seal the deal to win the national championship, that's a dream come true.
Scotty, we mentioned J.D. Note and Jalen Williams, but if you've watched this tournament, and even if you've watched the season, you know that they're not the only reason why these Razorbacks made the Elite 8. You've even had Trey Wade stepping up in the Sweet 16 against Gonzaga, Stanley Amude having big games as well. What standout players have you seen this season that was crucial, the X factors that led them on this road to the Elite 8, and not just the big-name players like Jalen and J.D.?
Well, I thought Wade and Amude, as you just mentioned, definitely had great seasons and big games for us. I thought Tony did extremely well. When we needed him to score, even when he came back from his injury, gave us a big point output production from having a big game. And then if you just look at Jalen, I thought Jalen was really the glue defensively for him taking charge after charge and in big games. When you think about games versus Kentucky and Tennessee, I thought you had multiple guys really step up and make plays.
Scotty, you have your finger on the pulse of Arkansas basketball. You're a head coach in the basketball scene with Parkview High, and you know so many people in the community that are so important for basketball in this state. And of course, you're a former Razorback. What do you think that this season did for the fandom across Arkansas that you know so well, is so passionate, that really is bringing so many people together again in support of a team that's one of the best in the nation, or at least one of the best 8?
Well, I think that everyone in this state knows that when the Razorbacks are thriving, everybody's attitude is a little bit different in a more positive fashion. I think it drives the economy a little bit more because people are excited to get out and move around, especially in light of what we've had to go through these last couple of years. And I think if you just look at the ultimate sense of pride, fans are wearing more Razorback gear and people are getting out and just talking about the Razorbacks more and more. So there's a sense of pride from the community, the whole state. And I think everyone is excited about what's to come.
I love it. Well, what a ride it's been for Arkansas. We appreciate your time so much, Scotty. We hope you have a good rest of the day, and maybe next year is the year for the Razorbacks.
All right, man. Thank you, guys. Have a great evening.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, that Duke loss did stink, but what a memorable season it was for the Razorbacks. And we're going to have a good luck wish for Parkview Patriots next season, who Scotty Thurman coaches. But after the break, we're going to go from former Hog to future Hog. 5-star Razorback signee Nick Smith joins the show to give his thoughts on the Hogs' incredible run. You don't want to miss this one.
Watching Final Score on Fox 16.
And we will have high expectations all summer. I'm start as soon as we get out of here. I'm going to start working on next year.
And a big reason why the expectations are so high for next year is the recruiting class for the Razorbacks. And for evidence, look no further than the incoming class headlined by homegrown Hog Nick Smith. This guy is a 5-star McDonald's All-American. He signed with the Razorbacks, and he is headed to the Hill shortly, and he's going to be seeing the Hogs coming off 2 straight Elite 8 appearances. And we're going to be joined by the man himself coming off that North Little Rock state title where he was state finals MVP. Nick, it was a tough loss for the Razorbacks last night against Duke, but what a run it was. What are you going to remember the most about this season and the postseason?
Well, first, I mean, Arkansas had a great season. Coach Muss, his adjustments he had, he did this year was amazing. The players adjusted to all the doubters and stuff like that. They was going through adversity and they faced it. So, about the time the end of the season came and conference came, they was on a roll. And I was proud of those guys yesterday, just going out there and just playing hard. And I'm pretty sure everybody that's leaving has bigger goals they're trying to get. So I'm just proud of the guys.
I love it, Nick. And of course, during the tournament, you knew that if the Hogs did lose the next game they'd play, you'd be suiting up and maybe even in line to start. So now that that has happened, where the Hogs have lost, they are out after the Elite 8. What's your outlook personally for next season? What kind of feelings do you have knowing that the next time they play, you will be on the court?
Well, first, this year, it felt like I was already on the team, because how close I was with the team and, how close I am with coaches, but, like you said, it's going to be different, just me going to be actually out there playing with the team and me having an actual Razorback jersey on, it's definitely going to be a surreal moment for me and my family, just going out there, just playing D1 basketball. And, like I said, once I get on campus, man, I'm just trying to get better each and every day, put the work in, and just try to win. That's basically what, it all comes down to.
Absolutely. I know you're honing your craft right now in Chicago for the week of the McDonald All-American game. But listen, I know you've been at Bud Walton Arena watching the Razorbacks, and of course you've watched on TV. You know that this past season, Note was the offensive leader, and Jalen Williams came up big in the paint. He was a walking double-double all season long. What other standouts did you see on this team and during this run that made it all possible where they ended up in the Elite 8 for the 2nd straight year?
Everybody on the team had a big role. I felt like, not just only JD, Jalen, or, Stan. I feel like everybody had a big role. I feel like Trey played super hard for the team this year. I feel like, AT Adis, was very, he don't really get a lot. I feel like he still don't get a lot of credit of what he does every night. Guarding the best player every night, holding them to, a max amount of points. Just Chris coming in, doing what he does, and, the whole bench is cheering the team on. And, I feel like everybody on the team has a key role of, playing and keys to winning. So, just coming in next year is going to be very fun.
Nick, when you committed to the Hogs early last fall, I feel like their outlook was already so high after an Elite 8 appearance, but now they've flown to heights that no one thought they could, beating a #1 ranked team in the regular season and the 1 seed in the tournament. They're the first NCAA team to ever do that. What makes you so excited to join the Muss Bus and be coached by Eric Musselman after 2 outstanding seasons on the Hill?
Well, first, I feel like we could beat any team in America, just having that pride of playing basketball, I feel like just having a winner's mentality, you can go out there and win on any cost, so, just going out there, just beating every team that's possible, obviously they lost to Duke, but, beating the #1 team in the regular season, beating the #1 team in NCAA, man, it's very great to see, the state, just looking back at it, it's history, we got a lot of history. So just adding on to that history, it's very cool to see. Next year we're just trying to, like I said, just trying to win. That's basically what it all comes down to.
Yeah, the first-year players on this team seem to be a lot of transfers that really had to gel with this team and become true Hogs, and of course they excelled in the end. Next year's team is going to have a lot of good-looking freshmen with that recruiting class that you're a part of. You have Barry Dunning, Darian Ford, Joseph Pinion, Jordan Walsh, and of course then comes you, 5-star Nick Smith. What do you think you can bring to the table as a Hog starting on day one?
Well, first, I don't really know if I'm going to start day one or not. I still have to go in there and prove myself that I'll earn that spot. And, I just go in there and compete versus the older guys. And, if I get that spot, I just get that spot. But, just going in and just trusting coaches must system and trusting the system, period. Just believing in them and them believing in me. I feel like I can bring a lot to the table. I feel like I can do everything. I can bring everything to the game, whatever the coach needs me to. And, I just go out there and play, man. I just try to win at everything I do. So.
Awesome. Of course, Eric Musselman is very happy to have you on that Must Bus, and all the Razorback fans are excited to see you play. But we have to ask you one last question because we asked North Little Rock head coach Johnny Rice about it, but we want to talk about your trip to L.A. the day after you won the 6A state final, and you got the chance to meet LeBron James, Mason Jones, and others. Tell us about that experience, because none of us here have ever heard of a player winning a state final and the day after going to Los Angeles to meet a pro basketball team.
It was a cool experience. I was down there just to, relax, get away from, the basketball stuff. And, I was very fortunate to, very blessed to go to a Lakers game and, just chopping it up with Bron after the game, it was very cool, just looking back at, how a lot of people look at him, when me and him was talking, we just talking like some regular dudes, he's a very cool guy. And, he's like one of us. So, just he has a good personality, I have a good personality. And, Mason just never been my guy, though. So, when I seen him, everything was just, the same with me and him, That's like the big bro. So, just going up there and meeting other guys, Brad, obviously I seen Brad. And, Anthony Davis chopped it up with him, it was cool, I'm pretty sure, hopefully I'll be able to talk to him again, but just me on the court. So
I love it. Well, one season ends and we already have our eyes set onto the next one, and this guy right here might just have a big role to play in that one. Well, Nick, we appreciate your time and enjoy this coming week in Chicago, where you're going to be playing in the McDonald's All-American game. We appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, after the break, we're going to tell you what's coming up after the show. Stay right here. As always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your Sunday evening to join us for Final Score. Make sure to catch Fox 16 Sports through next week as we continue to look back on the Razorbacks' March Madness run. And hey, folks, it is officially baseball season. For all the hardworking men and women on the floor and in the booth, I'm Nick Walters. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next week right here on the Final Score.